Hello YouTube, this is Billy. Today I was wanting to come to you guys making a video of, this is a 2018 Kia Optima, and so the symptoms the car was having was like kind of random, kind of like just bucking and jerking and stalling. Sometimes it would do great, like nothing was wrong, and just random acting up, typically upon starting the vehicle. In any event, so the crank position sensor on this vehicle, so like right now we're standing at the front of the vehicle, so you've got the battery, you've got the air intake, you got the intake box, right down here, right down in there. When the correct wire has this white coating on it, like a kind of like a white cloth wrap on it, and right under this top piece just pops off out of there. Okay, so right here on this rail, you have these wires that plug in, and there's a little bracket. Sorry for the lighting, I'm trying to show you guys, but the okay, there it is, right down there. Right down there, those three wires, right under my finger there. So this is here and coming in, and right down there. Those wires down there. Now, you see the top of the thing just pops right off. You know, pops right off, pops right on. It's got these little balls that fits in the sockets on the underside there. To get access to replace that thing, there was two bolts, one here and one here, and this piece comes out and sets aside. This box thing right here, there's a bolt down there and a bolt down there. You can't see it with this piece in, but there's two bolts down there. You take those out, and for me, what I did is I disconnected this hose right here, and then disconnected it from that, and disconnected this hose right there, and then where this big hose, that big hose clamp there, I took that loose, loosened it up, and then I was able to get this whole thing up out of there. To give me room to turn my wrench, I removed this bracket that's holding the battery in place. That way I could wiggle the battery this way to be able to get the wrench to turn to get those bottom two bolts down there. And the sensor is right back here. So when you're on the side of the car and you've got your brake fluid reservoir, and so it's just right down there. And again, that wire has that white coating on it, and there's a cover that goes over. There's a heat, it's a small heat shield. It's pretty small, it'll fit in the palm of your hand, but it's got two bolts. One bolt is directly on top, and then one bolt is kind of down and over to the right a little, but they're not far apart. Anyways, when you remove those two bolts, that little heat shield can come up and out to get it out of the way. And then on the sensor itself, it's just got one little bolt that's on the very top. So once you pull that little bolt out, that sensor, you just wiggle it and pull it out. Everything down there was not very tight at all. It took very little effort to try to get that undone. So when I put the new stuff, when I put it back together, I made sure I didn't tighten them too much, because they definitely weren't that tight to begin with. But and to actually be able to reach it, I was actually, because with this box out of the way, and I put a blanket down right here, and I was literally sitting up here with my knees, and you know, I had a blanket, and with my right hand going back and underneath, I was able to get everything apart with one hand. Now, getting everything back together with one hand was more of a challenge. So, what worked for me in the long run to get that little heat shield back in place, because I struggled with that for a long time. But when I finally got it, what I did is I had one arm going around that way and my other arm going around this way. And once I was able to feel that I had the holes lined up, with my left hand, I was able to hold it in that position. And then with my right hand, I was able to come up and grab the bolt and then go back down and get it going. It's difficult because of the location, but other than that, it really wasn't too bad. It's got that right down there where the wires are down there, because it's a lot easier to see when you get this stuff out of the way, and it takes little effort to get this stuff out of the way. But that little down there where those wires are, this one on the far left, that's the one, and the sensor, the wire from the sensor comes up and plugs into this plug right here, and there's a little metal bracket there, and that metal bracket is kind of shaped like a U, and when those two plugs are plugged into each other, it just kind of, that little metal U just kind of holds it. So when those two plugs are plugged in together, it just kind of fits down into that little groove there. That's how it's holding it. So when you wiggle that up out of that little U that's holding it, and then push the button on the connector and pull them apart so that they unplug, and then there is a hose down there. There's a hose down there that there's a little metal bracket, this little plastic thing that's just holding the sensor cable. It's kind of like a little plastic thing holding it to this little metal thing. With a screwdriver or whatever, you can just pry on it and it'll to pop it out. For me, going back in just like a simple zip tie in the same spot there. But I'm sorry I didn't record the actual doing this. I actually did it on the side of the road where the vehicle decided to not go any farther. Now, I have heard that